Oh, bless him. Hello Peach Tubers! It's Luli, and today I'm going to be talking about Amnesia Memories. This game is coming out on Switch in full sometime this year alongside its fan disc later crowd, so it's very exciting news. The Amnesia Memories, the main game, is already available on Steam, so on PC. However, I understand that we all love physical copies as part of a collection. So, and not to mention, it's really exciting because there's going to be a limited edition, and oh my god, I don't know whether to go for it or not. But anyway, that's another story to tell. Today I'll be basically doing a little review, same format as always. Note that although I would not consider any of what I include in this video as spoilers, I'm aware that what you consider spoilers and what I consider spoilers may not quite align. So if you're incredibly sensitive and you don't even want to know, like the synopsis, for example, or blurb, whatever you call it, then I would swiftly move on. But anyway, let me start. So, synopsis. Basically, it is about this main character who has no name. Yeah, I know. You can already tell that this main character doesn't have much of a presence. But you're this main character that suddenly wakes up, or is woken up by this little fairy called Orion. And he's like, oh my gosh, we bumped into each other. Now you've forgotten your memories. We need to bring them back. And then already you basically pick one of the 4 worlds, each world representative or respective of each of the love interests, and you've got heart, diamond, clover and spade. So basically playing cards, the little symbols on them. And so yeah, you could say that the common route is pretty much non-existent because it's just Orion saying, hey, pick a world. But anyway, so yeah, you pick a world, and then it's kind of cool because the main character has no memories, and this gives almost like a horror sensation because you go into this world and Orion's like, right, okay, we need to make sure no one can tell that you've lost your memories, because if they find out, you're going to be put in hospital, or it's the psychology department, whatever it's called. I can't then brain hospital. But if that happens, you're going to be confined in a room without any stimuli, so you may not be able to recover your memories. So we really need to be careful and make sure that no one notices. And so when the options come up, you're really thinking like, oh my gosh, what option do I go for? Because depending on the option, people might find out, and then bad ending. Oh no, there are so many bad endings in this game, whether it be your character, the main character dying or being thrown into hospital, all sorts of bad endings. So bear that in mind. But anyway, it's this eerie feeling, I mean, in some routes you struggle to even trust the love interest. You don't know what their motives are, and yeah, it's a sensation that you don't really experience in any, at least from my experience, any other Otome game. But yeah, it's a really eerie feeling. Of course, over time you pick up a few fragments of your memory, and then at the end you kind of piece it all together. But of course, it's that kind of finding bits out. I don't know, there's just something so exciting about it. I love it. But anyway, the synopsis is simple in that sense, and every love interest has a different relationship to you, and it's interesting. Oh, same goes for the side characters actually. In one world, your side character may be a childhood friend. In another, he may just be a colleague. Like, it's seeing the different dynamics per world. It's just like, I don't know, there's just something exciting and interesting about it. But anyway, let me go on to the systems. So I would say, the common route is probably, I think, took me like 20 minutes, if that. Like, it was non-existent, because it's just listening to Orion explaining what's happened, and then it goes straight into the character routes. I kind of felt like it took maybe about 5 to 7 hours. It's been a long time, so take this with a pinch of salt. Normally I look up reviews when it comes to hours, and it's been a while since I played a game, but I couldn't find any reviews that said specific times. So trying to remember really hard from a couple of years ago playing this game. I think it was like, yeah, 6 hours maybe, like, yeah, about that. So a relatively, I guess, short game compared to other Otome games. I don't know. Actually, thinking about it, there's loads of bad endings you need to pick up. So yeah, maybe not. Now, there are 3 bars. It's not just as simple as, you know, just increasing the affection for each of these characters. One is affection for, you know, the love interest. Another is trust, so how much your character and that character trust each other. And then this one's the interesting one, suspicion. And that's kind of like how much that character suspects you. And obviously, if that gets too high, you end up in a hospital. Yeah, I know. But I don't know, it's interesting because different characters, you need that parameter to be a different level. And no, you don't get love capped. So I would highly recommend a walkthrough for this one. I most certainly needed one, unless you want to, you know, pick an option and then go to a status page and see how much that bar's improved. Bit like Pure Fiore, where you need to see how much color there was. Oh my gosh, absolute nightmare. So yeah, I would go for a walkthrough. And I think, yeah, there are 5 love interests, 4 plus a secret ally that I will not speak of because I want you all to find out on their own. And yeah, I think, oh yeah, I don't know if there was jump skip. But yeah, I would say, you know, it's like a typical Otome game, other than that. Now, moving on to my favorite part, as you all know, the love interests. So let me go through the order in which I played them. I played Shin first, then I played Ikki, then I played Kento, and then I played Toma. And to be honest, I don't think there's any sort of order that is too recommended, but I would probably suggest playing Toma towards the end because I found him the most, I don't know, interesting. Shin is the poster boy and he's a childhood friend and he kind of starts off the base of the, you know, the experience. So I would highly recommend playing him first. As for Ikki and Kento, I don't think it really matters. As I said, Shin, Kento, Ikki, they don't really matter in what order you play them. Just I wouldn't play Toma first and I would play him ideally towards the end. But as is always the case, the choice is completely up to you. And anyway, the love interest that is a secret needs to be played right at the end anyway, because he doesn't unlock until you play all of them. But anyway, so Shin is a tomboy. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like huge on him, if I'm to be completely honest, because he is a little bit like Sasazuka from Column Malice in that he's a tomboy, but the tun is harder than the dere, if that makes sense. So he's so, I don't know, he just says like, oh, you're stupid and stuff to the main character, and I just don't really appreciate that. But if you're into that kind of tsun boys where, you know, they're kind of saying, oh, you stop being dumb, you're being dumb, la la la, dumb, then I would, you know, recommend him. I felt like his route felt the most kind of eerie personally, because I don't know, I just got this really, the no memory thing really hit me. I don't know if it's because it was the first character I played or whether it's just specifically his route. I just felt really like, you know, I really felt like I didn't know who to trust, and as I said, a very refreshing experience. So no, definitely recommended. But yeah, he's a childhood friend, he's a tomboy. You sometimes see the dynamic between him and another childhood friend of the main character, and you can almost see like them, you know, bicker a little bit because they both clearly like the main character. Oh, and he is younger than the main character. I'm not gonna lie, as I said, I'm not too fond of the fact that he's a little bit mean to the main character and in like a demeaning kind of way. But I know some of you like that sort of thing, so, you know, look forward to it if you like that sort of tomboy. Moving on to the next one I played was Ikki. I'm not gonna lie, he just knows how to talk to women, let's put it that way. He is one of those like player characters, not player in the way that he would cheat on you or anything like that. He's just really, he has his little gang of girls, and need I say more? This game really is kind of almost like depressing in some routes, you know, it feels almost like a horror game. It's just a little bit messy at times, but Ikki was so pretty to look at, and I think he was my second favourite out of all the characters. He just, as I said, he just knows how to speak to women and how to treat women, and seeing him flirt with the main character was really interesting, and the plot line for his route was also one of my favourites because it was, yeah, it was just a bit distinct, I suppose. The third love interest I played was Kento. Oh, bless him. What can I say? He's just so oblivious and a complete nerd. Like, he just doesn't get it. I don't know how else to explain him. He's the type of guy that just doesn't know how to treat girls that he likes. So some of the things he says, you're just like, bless him. He's just a bit, he's so cute, but like, he just doesn't get it. He's really tall though, which obviously gives bonus points when I'm looking at love interests. But I think some of you out there who like the nerdy type will really appreciate him because he's just, and some of the options that pop up, maths questions. So yeah, look forward to that, those of you who don't like maths. But yeah, he was cute in his own way. He's just so oblivious, bless him. Now the fourth route I played was Toma. Toma is my favourite character out of all of them. I think, you know, he's that, again, the older, not quite older brother in like an ew sense, but like older brother in that he was that reliable sort of friend for the main character. She could trust him, and I felt like I could trust him right from the start compared to the other characters. Well, I wasn't too sure. He just, yeah, he gave off that reliable vibe, which is something I really like in a good-hearted love interest. So, and I guess looks-wise, he was most my type as well, and the way he treats the, you know, main character, unlike Shin, who's like super mean, Toma was always gentle and kind and cute to her. So he's my favourite. And then you've got the secret ally. I won't talk too much about him, but I think there are quite a few out there that, you know, got their heart stolen by this secret love interest. So please do look forward to him. I wouldn't say he's my type personally, but his route was interesting in that he sort of did tie all the knots together at the end, which, yeah, it was satisfying. Let's put it that way. So if I were to order them, I would probably go Toma, obviously, and then I put Ikki, and then I would put Kento, and then I would put Shin. Actually, no, I'd put the secret love interest on the Kento maybe, or on the same level, and then Shin would be down here. I'm sorry, Shin fans. I get it that you guys probably adore him, but he just isn't my type, unfortunately. But his route was incredibly eerie, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah. So those are the character routes. Now moving on to who I would and would not recommend this game to. I would recommend this game to those who like almost sort of like horror elements or suspense in their game. Like honestly, some of the characters, their face expression changes. My heart, I was like, oh God, what happened? That sudden change really freaked me out. With like, there's this particular character where their face like changes, and it changes in a really disturbing way, and it really freaked me out. So I would definitely suggest not playing this game in the dark, because I did that mistake, and oh my dear God, it just, I mean, okay, I'm a chicken, so that could be why, but yeah. But I would recommend this game to those who like a slight suspense horror element to a game. I would also recommend it to those who like an eerie feeling, like, you know, a kind of, can I trust this person? Can I not? Like this sort of questioning in your mind sensation. If you like that, great as well. If you like a contemporary game but with a little bit of a twist, like the fashion sense of the guys are very distinct. Like if you look at their clothes, you're like, is that normal in this world? You know, but it is contemporary. It's based in this time, like now. So, you know, I quite like contemporary. So yeah, I recommend it to those who want like a modern setting. I would also recommend it to those who are looking for a game to play in summer, because it has like a lot of the tropes that happen, you know, for example, going to a vacation house together, like that sort of thing. It has what I consider sort of summer elements. Obviously this isn't like me saying you need to play it in summer. I'm just saying if you're looking for a game to play in summer, then this is a perfect game because it has all like the summery things going on. But I guess if you're looking for like a horror Otome game, then, you know, Halloween is actually a good day too, even though it feels very summery in it. And it's kind of interesting because in Japan we say you want to play horror games or read horror stories in summer because it causes the chill to go down your spine, which helps with the heat. I don't think I've heard this in the West so much before, but I guess that's also another reason I'd recommend it in summer. I would also recommend it to those who like the sort of distinct outfits and like kind of like different backgrounds. Like the backgrounds don't look like your normal Otome game where it just looks like normal backgrounds. It's got this like almost artistic touch to it. I would also recommend it to those who absolutely adore bad endings where the main character dies left, right and center. That's not even a spoiler because she really does. You have to be really careful about your options, otherwise you die. So yeah, definitely use a walkthrough, I would say, unless you want to see how many bad endings you go down. Okay, moving on to who I would not recommend this game to. I would not recommend it to those who prefer like an old setting or a fantasy setting. This is quite modern, contemporary. You know, yeah, it's not like, you know, historical fiction, for example. I would also not recommend it to those who, you know, don't like horror or suspense feel. Don't get me wrong, there are no like jump scares or anything like that. It's just there is this like a worrying kind of dodgy feel, you know, being unable to trust anyone. It is quite a discomforting, you know, emotion. I love those sort of things. So for me, this game was amazing. But if you're the type that doesn't really like that, you're not craving that, you want something a bit more fluffy, then I would not recommend this game. I would also not recommend this game to those who absolutely detest bad endings and want to avoid them at all costs, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, you could use a walkthrough, right? But one little mistake could lead you down the bad endings. So if you really struggle with bad endings and you just want to avoid it no matter what, then this may not be the best game for you. You might want to train yourself for bad endings because there are loads of them, right? So there's that too. I would also not recommend it to those who are sensitive to a trigger warning of being bullied by girls, because some of the routes does have that like being bullied by women and like it being really uncomfortable. So if that is a trigger warning for you, then I may avoid this too, because that happens in, I think, maybe 1 or 2 routes. Yeah, definitely look into it before purchasing if that is a really sensitive thing for you. I would also not recommend it to those who don't like messed up characters, because there are a couple that go a little bit funny depending on what route you go down. And so yeah, I would highly recommend looking at the trigger warnings, because, you know, it may cause spoilers, don't get me wrong, because, you know, but I would suggest looking at the trigger warnings if there are some things you're highly triggered by. And oh, by the way, before I end this, guys, some of you may think that one spoiler, and if you know, you know, that spoiler everyone may know, but everyone does not know this. I have come across some people who don't know of the spoiler, which, as I said, if you know, you know. So if you know of what I'm talking about, don't tell anyone, because it's more fun when that person sees it as a surprise, just so you know. So please, like, promise me that. Don't talk about the spoiler, that you must know what I'm talking about. But yes, I wouldn't look into the game too much either, because there is this one huge spoiler that a lot of people know of. But anyway, that is the kind of, I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but that is my recommended and not recommended kind of section. My general thoughts and rating. I would probably rate this game about a 4 out of 5. It is one of my absolute favorites. I mean, maybe even 4.2, I don't know. But it is, like, I adore this game. It could be that I played this game earlier on in my Otome journey, shall we say. But like, I think the whole horror-ish element, the eerie feeling, the suspense, you know, I think this is something that I haven't really experienced in any other Otome game. So, and that's right up my street, you know. So I think for that reason, I really enjoyed this game, and it's definitely one of like my top Otome games if I were to make a little list. And yes, I highly recommend it if you're open to anything. You know, as I said, this is kind of like my opinion, my feeling regarding it, so you may feel completely different. Yeah, comment below if you disagree, without the spoilers, so I can see what other people have to say about this game. But for me, it was one of those games that really left an impression. The fact that I can talk about it this much, without even like having to look through other reviews or anything, kind of says it all, because like, it clearly left an impression, if you know what I mean. And if you want to experience something that is different to your usual Otome games, then honestly, I highly recommend this game, and I highly, you know, push you to purchase it almost. It is available on Steam, which goes on sale quite often, so if you can't afford the physical edition that's coming out in autumn, then feel free to check the Steam edition out. But yeah, just please experience it in some way or another, because unless the trigger warnings put you off and, you know, you'd rather something fluffy, of course, like, again, go back to the recommended, not recommended section if you kind of want to double check. But yeah, personally, I really like it, so I would give it like a 4 or 4.2 out of 5. And yeah, I think that is it. As always, please do comment below or join my Discord and ask me questions if you have any regarding this game. I'm more than happy to answer them if I, you know, notice them and I'm able to catch it. And I'm sure I've noticed other people commenting on each other's comments sometimes. So who knows, someone else might answer your comment as well. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!